Yeah, my name is Sudhams, and I'm holding like 12 plus years of experience in this IT domain. So I've been worked as Linux administrator, Windows administrator as well. After that, I switched my career into DevOps and then different cloud platforms like OpenStack, AWS, Azure. Now I'm working on GCP cloud as well. So this is more of like I started as administrator, then DevOps. So that's how my career is all about. And I hold different certificates from different domains actually, like Kubernetes certification, Azure certification, AWS, and OpenStack as well. OpenStack, by the way, if you don't know, it's like more of a on-prem cloud that you can set up. It's more of a private cloud that you can build with. So this is my basic profile of information. So for this particular course, I know people are coming from different background. It's not that you already have some IT experience, or you might be a fresher, or you might not coming from this particular IT domain as well. Okay. So see, this particular course is designed from scratch, which means you have to, even though you have some basic knowledge of it, but I need to start from scratch, which means, as I said before in the curriculum as well, I think you have it. Okay. So first we will be starting with Linux operating system. First, I will give the introduction of the technology, how it works and all. But after that, we have to start with Linux operating system. You might be asking a question like, why not Windows? Because most of the organizations are now using Linux operating systems. So we have more scope of it. So that's the reason why I have took that particular thing as a priority in training this particular DevSecOps, okay, of AWS cloud. So Linux is a common thing that you have to learn. So in Linux, we will not learn into the pure kernel administrative part and all. Whatever is necessary for our DevOps, okay, which means DevSecOps of AWS cloud, that particular components will be learning it, like installation, what is the architecture of Linux operating system, what is the basic commands that you have. So means how will you talk to the operating system? See, the major thing of operating system is I want to talk to the hardware. Okay, so if I need to talk to the hardware, hardware can understand only a binary language, ones and zeros combination. So we as a human beings, while you are using it, maybe your application or some XYZ, when we are using it, we have to interact to that particular hardware, right? Hardware components in the sense, like you have this particular hard disk, CPU, memory, all these particular components. Now this operating system will help you to interact with you and interact with the kernel of the which uses to convert your human readable language into machine level and machine level language into human readable. So that is why we are using this operating system like Windows, Android, iOS, Linux, Unix, Mac. All these are operating systems. So your operating system, you have to know how to talk to it. If you don't know how to fetch the information, you cannot interact with the operating system and you cannot run your applications, or you cannot run your program, or you cannot run your scripts. There are many more, right? Okay. So that is the reason why operating system knowledge is basic and that is so important for us. Okay. So that you can imagine that like a prerequisite before entering into any cloud you take or any on-premises environment that you're working with in a product-based company or anywhere, operating system is mandated. So that's where we are starting with that particular component first. In the operating system, as I told you, basic commands, package manager, like how will you install packages, how will you remove the packages. It is similar to how you do it in your Windows system, right? I'll go to a browser, I will search for VLC player, I will download, and I will do next install. It is pretty easy and straightforward in Windows operating system, that to desktop. Or maybe you can take server as so, it is pretty straightforward. But when it comes to Linux operating system, for everything we have to run the commands. Okay, it's not that you have some GUI. Yes, in Linux also we have GUI, which is like a desktop operating system, but we don't use it in real time scenarios. So that's where we have to practice from this particular course itself, how to use a Linux operating system only through CLI. Okay. Initially, will struggle for sure. Maybe not all of them. Maybe the people who are not coming from this background, right? Obviously, you have to put some more efforts. Straightforward. Okay. Nothing to hide. So you have to put some more efforts. For example, if someone is learning in 1 hour, maybe you have to put some additional half an hour or 1 hour effort to learn that particular topics. Okay, that is the only difference what we have, the time that you spend. So after the package manager, like how will you install, how will you remove the package, how will you upgrade the package? Okay. So these kind of things we will be learning in package manager. After that, we have users and groups management. Means, see, my credentials cannot be shared. For example, we are all one particular team. We are working for one particular project. Now, everybody wants to log into that particular server, right? Which means, will I share my username password to everybody? That's a security violation, and company will not accept it. And that is not a recommended approach as well. So what we have to do, for every person or every user, we have to create a credentials, and that we have to share it to the team. So they will use their credentials to log into the operating system. So how will you do that as administrator? You have to know, right, how to create a users, how what is mean by groups, how will you create a groups, how will you add a user to the group to manage the permissions, how will you set the permissions for files, which is the next topic, file permissions and all. Okay. So for every file, we can't give full permissions, right? Okay. So we have to know how to control that permissions as well. This comes under security. The user management, file permissions, these all comes under security. That is operating system level security. And the disk management means how much space you have to allocate to that particular server, what kind of application you are trying to install, for what reason you are using that particular server. All these particular factors come into picture, and then you have to take a decision like how much amount of disk space should be allocated to that particular server, and how will you create a partitions, what kind of file system we have to use. All these particular points will come into picture when you learn about this operating system. So that is the initial topic for us, Linux operating system. So any questions from here? Any topic that you're looking at, if you're already aware of this operating system. So this is mandate and important for us to learn. So after completing this operating system, right? So now we are good enough to handle the operating system and all. Then we'll go to AWS. Okay. So I have the PPTs as well, the documents. So how I'm going to share the documents? I have a PPT documents. Okay. I have a Word documents as well, which I'll be sharing as a PDF. And I have a GitHub account where I already have the documents. For example, you can see Docker and Kubernetes. You can go to the syllabus, topics, all the topics which I've covered. I prepared a document. You can go through it whenever you want to read. Okay, you can see there's a document diagrams and you can see the content. Okay, how to set up this. All the things are written here. Okay, so document wise, you don't need to worry. You have to concentrate only on the topics which I'm teaching on daily basis, and you have to practice according to it. Okay, that's the first thing what you have to do. Okay, and what are the topics I'm going to cover in AWS? Those are written in this particular PPT slide. Okay, something related to security, compute, all these particular things. Okay. So compute in the sense creating a virtual machines or physical machines as well nowadays in the cloud. Okay. Storage, networking, serverless architecture, Docker and Kubernetes. Okay. Cloud front. There are many other topics which we have to learn as part of this particular information technology in the cloud. Okay. AWS is one of the cloud service provider. We'll talk about that particular points later. Okay, so why we have to go for cloud in the sense they will manage all the infra and we will pay only for the service what we are using. So they are called as service providers, cloud service providers. So to talk about that, first we need to know what is cloud computing. Okay, so what is meant by cloud computing? Providing on-demand IT resources over the internet is called as cloud computing. Okay, I'll give you a best example. Like, I hope everybody is using internet at your home, right? What are those called? Internet service provider. Service, forget about internet point. Service provider in the sense what? Because you don't know how to set up this particular network at your home, someone knows about this, someone is providing this particular service to your home or office or some particular locations and all. You will talk to them. You will say your locations, all other details. They'll give you some particular quotation. And according to that, you will purchase. And you will pay only for the service what you're using. You're not worried about their salary, their infrastructure, okay, their other what is the maintenance and all, right? Only for the network what you have chosen, let's say 100 Mbps, 200 Mbps, 500 Mbps, or 1 Gbps network what you have chosen, for that only you will pay the bill. Okay, so they'll have the customers across this particular geographical location. Okay, now that is called as service provider. And if there is some problem, you will not troubleshoot it. You will raise a complaint or you will raise a ticket. Okay, and they will troubleshoot and they will fix it. Okay, so that is internet service provider. I'm talking about cloud service provider like AWS, Azure, GCP, Alibaba Cloud, IBM Cloud, Oracle Cloud, and then we have DigitalOcean, OpenStack. OpenStack is a not public cloud. Okay, so all these particular seven which I've told you right now, these are called as cloud service providers. Okay, to set up the cloud for your organization, means for your company. Okay, instead of your company building this particular infrastructure, they will look at this particular cloud service providers like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, IBM, Oracle. So we are learning about AWS because AWS is most widely used by many of the organizations. So if many of the organizations are using, what is the benefit for me? I will have a more scope, right, to get a job in that particular technology of the cloud what they are using. So that is the reason why we are here of learning AWS as a cloud service provider. Okay. So that is all about cloud computing. AWS comes under cloud service provider. Like Microsoft Azure, what are the other components which I've told you? Okay. Next one is, what is internet? Everybody knows, right? What is internet? Any specific definition for that or a casual sentence for it? What is a network? See, if I need to talk to you or you need to talk to me, or if group of people want to talk to each other, we have a language, right? Okay. So we have a language, a communication, what we have. What about devices? I have a computer at my home. I have a PC at my home, laptop, printer, smart TVs right now, mobile smartphones and all this particular device as well, right? So how will you connect them? They want to talk to each other. For example, from my system, I want to give a printout. How will you do that? Okay. So network is all about connecting the devices to share the information. Then what is internet? Which means, for example, I'm sitting somewhere at my home and you are sitting at your home. We are able to talk to each other. How is that possible? Because of internet. Okay. At my home, I have my router, I have my TV and all. I was able to talk to each other. But how I'm able to talk to Google, let's say a YouTube channel, or how I'm opening this particular Teams communication right now? Because of internet. Network over networks. That is all about internet. I told you what is operating system by now. Okay, what is operating system? For example, you take Android, you take iOS, Mac operating system, Unix operating system, Linux operating system, Windows operating system. These are the operating systems what we know, right? Embedded also, but embedded you can keep it aside. Now, these operating systems, what we are using, because we want to store some information or we want to use some particular component in that particular hardware, we don't know how to talk to it. So my operating system is like a mediator between you and your hardware that will be installed on that particular device. What it does, it will convert your human readable language into machine level and vice versa. That is the reason why we are using operating system. It is as simple as that. What is a website? You are using websites, right? Like Swiggy, Zomato, other websites as well. Why we use it? What is a website? See, it is a casual interaction. You can talk whatever you want that you know. So website is a
Hello.
combination of web pages, right? For example, say this is a website. For example, you have many pages. You have some pages and all. All these combinations together is called as website. Now, in the web page, what we will store? Data. It could be video, audio, like YouTube channel, right? You might be seeing some videos, audios, text, images, all these called as web page. See, I want to showcase some information. For example, I want to start a restaurant or some business or something, some XYZ. Now, how will you project yourself? Pamphlets sharing and all this, it cannot be done, right? I cannot go to each and every location and share this particular pamphlets and all. That's more of a physical activity. It's more of an expenditure. Now, someone wants to order something. Let us say I'm starting a restaurant right now. Someone wants to order something. or someone wants to see my menu before order something. They want to see my location. They want to see what are the other things that we do, catering or something like that. So how will you showcase this information? What you are, what is your business is all about? For that, we have a website. So website is a combination of web pages to share the data over the network or internet, you can say. Okay. Now, what is information technology? The last and most important one. See, why I'm asking you these questions is we hear this particular terms a lot on daily basis, but somehow we don't know exactly what it is, right? So I'm giving you this example is all about we will be learning in this particular training program from scratch, which means even though if you don't know anything, I'll be training you from the scratch. It's not that I'll be teaching you only high level, only the people who are into this particular IT domain can understand the topics what I'm teaching. No, it's everyone. Even though if you don't have any IT background, also you can learn this particular DevSecOps. But the only thing is you need to have patience enough for the days, number of days what I will be teaching, and the practice what you have to do. Any doubts you can ask me. Daily 1 hour of class. Okay, you have to spend 1 hour of class, maybe 78 or 8 to 9. That we'll discuss later. Okay, 1 hour of session. Other times you can practice, right? The rest of the time, what you have, whenever you have some leisure time, you can practice. Whenever you have any doubts, how will you contact me or the WhatsApp? Okay, we'll create a WhatsApp group. Okay, and then on that particular WhatsApp group, you can ask your questions instead of waiting for the next day and wasting your time. Okay, instead of lacking in the syllabus, you can ask me the question in the WhatsApp group itself. Okay. So that is more of an interaction. If I'm not able to respond, someone already knows about this particular issue, what you're facing, he will respond, right? This is more of a communication, what we are trying to create. Okay. And to solve the gaps as this is how we interact. Okay. Now, coming back to the syllabus, as I told you, we'll be teaching the shell scripting as well. That is also important. Why? Because when you're working with operating system, sometimes you have to perform the task which includes some series of steps that you want to execute. See, I'm talking to the operating system right now. I cannot execute one command, wait for the output. Again, I will execute another command, wait for the output. Again, execute the command, wait for the output. That is not a easy thing, right? When the DevOps culture came into picture, everything is automated. So how will you automate the process on your operating system? By learning the shell scripting. If it is a Windows operating system, we call it as PowerShell. If it is a Linux operating system, we call it as Bash shell scripting. Okay. So here just I have written shell scripting, but it is actually a Bash shell scripting, what we will be talking about, since we are learning Linux operating system. And in Linux operating system, we have many flavors. We will be using Ubuntu operating system. Why? Because it is open source and the most widely used in the open source operating system is Ubuntu by the organizations. Okay. And coming back to AWS. So these are the services what I'm going to teach. Some are related to backup, some are related to DNS, some are related to authentication, authorization, compute, networking, storage. Okay, we have auto scaling, load balancer, notifications, auditing like CloudTrail, CloudWatch, secrets management, data management. Okay, shell of cloud, code commit. Okay, which is called as Git, database, and Prometheus for monitoring as well. Now, these are the services what I'm going to teach, and it is say is there in the syllabus as well. Okay, you can go through it. So these are like individual topics what I've written in detail so that you can see what are the topics are covered. If you don't know what are the topics I'm trying to cover or what I'm trying to cover, you can check with some people who are having some background on this particular topics. Okay, it's not that I'm giving this particular topics and you are learning it, right? So you do your R&D on this. Okay, like you can see relational database service, Docker. Docker and Kubernetes is most widely used by many of the organizations. Okay, and we have to learn as well. Okay, now whatever I'm teaching, you might have a question where we have to practice. The syllabus, what I'm showing you right now, right? Docker Kubernetes, CloudFront, Certificate Manager, Secret Manager, CloudTrail, CloudWatch, CloudFront. Okay, all this where you have to practice. AWS is providing a free trial account for 1 year. Okay, we can create a AWS free trial account. We call it a free tier. What is meant by free tier? they will give you this particular free tier account for 1 year. What does it mean? Can I use anything for 1 year without paying any charge? No, there are some limitations. For example, I'll tell you a casual thing that everybody can understand is Google Drive is free of cost. Yes, everybody knows about it, but there is a limitation. What is that limitation? If you go beyond 15 GB, you have to pay the charges like additional 20 GB or 30 GB like that, right? So until 15 GB of data that you store in Google Drive is free of cost. If you go beyond that, you have to pay the charges. So here also for every service that I have listed here, it is free of cost, but there are some services, they have some limitation. For example, you can create a EC2 instance, means a server on AWS cloud. That server, if you run for 24/7, they'll apply the charges. But if you stop, they'll not apply the charges. You created, you ran for 1 hour or 2 hours. After that, you stopped it. There are no charges applied. Then you might ask a question, what about the 2 hours that I ran? For that also, we have some quota. Quota in the sense what? You can run your EC2 instance per month, 750 hours. Okay. So there are limit. You can see Amazon S3 bucket, 5 GB free of cost. If you go beyond 5 GB, you have to pay the charges. Amazon RDS, 750 hours per month database usage is free of cost. Free tag. You can see how many months, 12 months free. You can see the tag here. So in that way, if you want to list some services which are free for 12 months, means 1 year, you can just select this tick box. It will show you all the services. Okay, now I want to see lifetime free, always free. There are some services which are always free. If I select that, you can see always free, free tier up to what? 25 GB. If I go beyond 25 GB, you have to pay the charges. You can see here CloudFront 1 TB free of cost. If you go beyond that, you have to pay the charges. This is lifetime. Okay. And then you can see trails. There are some particular trails, free trails actually, maybe 250 hours. After that, you have to pay the charges. First come, first basis. Okay. In this way, we have multiple options. Now you people will not understand what I'm talking about in detail, but I could say that we will be creating, everybody will create their own free trial account for free of cost. You have to provide some credit card or debit card details. That it will create an account for you and you have to manage it properly. I will let you know how to manage it so that you will not fall into any billing to that particular account. Now, when we have to practice, sorry, I could say when we should not practice on AWS. When I'm practicing Linux, it's not necessary to use AWS cloud. If I practice my operating system in AWS cloud or in my local system, it is the same. Because once you enter into the operating system, it is same, right? The commands will be the same. Okay, that is one case. Second case is nothing but when you learn Docker and Kubernetes, right? It is not necessary that you go to the AWS cloud. Okay, this Docker and Kubernetes, what I'm talking, right? That you can practice in your local system. I will show you how to do that. So we will be jumping here and there to save our billing and to learn the topic as well. That I will provide you the guidance. You no need to worry at all about this. Okay, that's what I want to share. Okay. Now, once this particular AWS major administrative services are done, then we will jump into DevOps service. After Docker Kubernetes, I told you, right? We will jump into DevOps. Now, though in the syllabus I have mentioned as Jenkins, if you guys want Azure DevOps as a CI/CD pipeline, I can, in place of this particular Jenkins, I'll be teaching you. Decision is yours. We will talk about that at the last, okay, as a discussion. But actually, I thought of teaching Jenkins as part of CI/CD. CI/CD full form is continuous integration and continuous delivery. What it does exactly? Because CI/CD is important for everybody as a DevOps engineer. We have to automate it as a DevSecOps. You have to automate everything, right? See, as a part of SDLC in the sense what? Software Development Life Cycle. For example, you got a client to your organization. The clients will give you some inputs. I want this particular application. This is my plan and all. Now you have to deliver that. Okay, for that you have to develop a product, nothing but a software. Now, when you develop that particular software, Everything cannot be manual, right? Right? Earlier it used to be manual, long back. After DevOps, DevSecOps, and all this particular culture has been adopted by organizations, now everything is automated. What is meant by automated? As a developer, I might be writing some code. Then I have to store it somewhere. Where you will store it? In Git. I have to store it, right? Like this, what I'm showing you right now, Git. We will store the software over here, the code, what we developed. Software in the sense, the code, what you have developed related to the software. Because in your organization, you will have many members in your team who will be contributing to that particular development of the software, right? See, everybody will not write a code for each and every component. You might be writing some for home page. Another person might be writing for contact us page. Another person might be writing for gallery. For example, I'm giving you as a website. Okay, together you will store the code in the Git. After the code has been stored in the Git, what you have to do? You have to convert that into a software, right? As executable file, I could say. How will you do that? Will you do it manually? No. By using this particular CI/CD tool, you will do that, which is continuous integration and continuous delivery. Let's say next Ansible. See, CI/CD part you have learned and you are able to automate everything in your organization. What does it mean? Developer will write the code, he will push it. After that, compiling the code, okay, and deploying that code, everything will be taken care by CI/CD. Like Jenkins, we have Travis CI, or we have Azure DevOps pipelines, or we have AWS code pipeline. All these are examples. Okay. Now, what about Ansible? What you're seeing on the screen right now, it is called as configuration management tool. What does it mean? Let us say a simple example. I have given you 10 servers, or maybe 20 or 30 servers, or some hundreds of servers. Now, I told you to configure something on all the 100 servers. I told you to do some particular installation, or I said that to execute some particular steps, okay, on that particular on that particular servers. So how will you do that? Will you log into each and every server and do one by one? It will take some days together, right? Even though some multiple people are sitting on that, it will take some days together. And it is a human interaction, right? We might do some mistakes. Some people might follow all the steps what they have written in the document. Some people may intentionally or unintentionally, they will skip some steps. How will you overcome this? I want to ensure that in all the servers, all the commands have been executed properly. So there has to be some tool, right, which will do on behalf of you. I will tell the tool what to do, but how to do that, that tool will take care of it. You understood the concept, right? I will tell the tool what to do. Okay. How to do that, tool will take care of it. So now this particular Ansible tool, you will write some YAML file. For example, I'm saying in the YAML file, you will write the task in the sense step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, something. Some steps. Forget about what is the step. Some steps. What has to be done on that server. Now this Ansible tool will contact to all the servers and it will execute the steps and it will give you the result. Now you have saved your time and everything is automated. You have everything to be monitored and you have the results, right? So process has to be as fast as possible. See, if I need to deliver the product to my customer as soon as possible, what we have to do, automate everything. So that is where, as a DevSecOps engineer, we are learning this particular tools as well. How to utilize this particular tools to automate the process. Okay, Ansible is configuration management tool. Then what about Terraform? So Terraform, you have to concentrate more, a lot. Why? Because Terraform is a replacement of managing the infrastructure. What is the infra? It could be AWS infra. It could be a Microsoft Azure infra or on-premises infra or IBM infra. Infra in the sense what? Creating something on the cloud. Will you create it manually? No, right? So there has to be some tool who will do the job on behalf of you. Same thing. I will tell the tool what to do. The tool has to do the job of creating that particular service or deleting the service or managing the service, updating, modifying, all these things. So if you learn Terraform, I can manage all the cloud service providers. Today, you might be learning AWS as part of this particular course. Once you entered into your organization due to some project changes and all, you might be shifted to Azure or maybe GCP cloud. Will you learn another tool to manage the infrastructure of the clouds? Not necessary. If you learn Terraform, I can manage any cloud. Only thing is you will modify the data. That's all. That is the reason why Terraform is most widely used by many of the organizations to manage their infrastructure. Okay, on the cloud. You can take any cloud as an example. Since we are talking about AWS, I'll be teaching you AWS, how to use Terraform for AWS. But it doesn't make much difference of how to use Terraform for Microsoft Azure or GCP Cloud or IBM Cloud or Azure. What do you say? Oracle Cloud, any other cloud. It's the same. The syntaxes, the approaches, the files, the commands, the workflow, everything will be the same. Even for that, also I have a documentation. I'll be sharing you. Okay, I'll just show you one document which I already have. Terraform. Terraform. Let me show my documents. Already signed in, right? Terraform. I'm not logged into my repository, so that's the reason. Terraform deep dive. Okay, you can see, right? These are the syllabus, what I'm going to teach in Terraform. Why I'm not discussing all these particular points? Because there is no point of discussing. Why? Because you don't know what is it, Terraform resources, variables, data source, and all these things, right? But I just want to say you that this is the syllabus. You can see many people of the students have been forked it. Forked it in the sense, if you want to keep it in your repository, we can do that. I'll tell you how to do this, all these things, once you learn Git. Okay. So I just want to share the thing that these are the documents what we have. Okay, you no need to prepare any documentation. All the things are written here. The step-by-step process. Okay. Now coming back to the point. After Terraform is done, Prometheus and Grafana, we have to learn how to monitor. For example, on Kubernetes, you are deploying some application, some X application. So I want to know how much resource is used by that application. Okay, how much CPU, how much memory, how much disk, how much network is utilized. All these things I want to capture. So will you go physically and monitor that? No, right? Somewhere I need to see it visually. Capturing the data is one thing that will be done by Prometheus. Visually, I want to see it, right? So how will you see that? Means it will show the graph like this. I'll show you Grafana once. Grafana. So this is like a dashboard. I'll show you just a second. It looks like this, for example. Okay. So here we can see the utilization, memory, CPU utilization, how many people have logged in. Okay. In the pie chart, you can see in the bar as well, like how this particular utilization was done. So what is the usage of this? What is the benefit of this? You can share this particular results. Visually, you can see and understand, right? Instead of looking at the data is not understandable by everybody. But by looking at the graph, I can understand what is happening. What is the utilization? Okay. So to capture this information, we have to learn about Prometheus and Grafana. Prometheus will grab this information. Grafana will show you the details like this. The visualization tool is called as Grafana. Okay. Metrics and all this particular data will be captured by Prometheus. Where we use this one? In Kubernetes. The topics which I've told you, right? Docker and Kubernetes, there will be learning about this. After that, I told you Git. Git has to be learned by everybody. Whether you are a senior developer or let's say you're a DevOps engineer, DevSecOps engineer, or you are a manager, whatever it is, everybody should have a knowledge on Git. Because every person who is contributing to the development of the code could be anything like Terraform code, Ansible code, or maybe Jenkins data. Everything will get stored in the Git. So you know to know what is the commands, what are the commands we have to use, how to store the data in the Git. If something goes wrong, how will you retrieve it? All these things we'll be learning under version control system. SonarQube is something like static code analysis as part of security, right? See, there are many security services and tools we'll be learning as part of DevSecOps. Okay. One of them is also nothing but SonarQube. So for example, as a developer, I'll be writing some code in the form of file. Now, before compiling that particular code, I need to know what are the bugs or what are the duplication of the codes that we have in that particular file my developer has written. How will you capture it early before the code has been compiled? That particular job will be done by SonarQube. SonarQube is also, we have enterprise version, open source version as well. Okay. But we will be using open source one. And I will show you how to use it in CI/CD pipeline to automate and capture the results as part of SonarQube. Okay. And other security strategies, tools we will be using is Trevi, KubeBench, KubeLinter, Docker security for infrastructure as a security. Okay. So these are the additional tools what will we be learning as part of security. Now, security, see, DevOps plus security is nothing but DevSecOps. Okay. So DevOps is not a tool or DevSecOps is not a tool. That is a culture. Culture in the sense, if I need to develop a product, what are the things I have to implement in my organization? Or what are the tools I have to use in my organization so that I can deliver the product as much, what do you say, I can speed up or I can deliver that particular product to my client as early as possible to compete it to the market, right? I cannot say that I will deliver this particular product after 1 year or 2 years or something. What we will do, first we will release one product with some beta version. We'll ask our clients to use it. Then we'll implement one more feature, one by one, one by one. For example, if you look at WhatsApp, earlier we don't have a group chat, right? Group calling, group chat, all these are not available. Now we are able to see group chat. When the group chat was there in WhatsApp, we don't have a group video call. Group voice call is video call, voice call, both are not available earlier. After we got adopted to group chat, then we got an option called video call. See, these are like implementations. It is a step-by-step process. First, people have to use your product. So first I need to release one product. So how will you do that? By using this particular tools. So we have to know what are the tools we have to use in our organization so that we can deliver the product in the development side, in the operation side, and in the security side as well. So your job is to identify the tools and you integrate them, not individually, right? All finally we have to integrate all these particular tools to deliver the product. Okay. So that is where we will be learning in this entire training program. And that is the reason why it will take 3 months for us to complete this particular syllabus. As I've written in the document itself, the prospector or the syllabus, what you have got it right. Clearly, I've mentioned it. It will take 3 months of duration. For sure. Why? Because I have to teach these many concepts. Okay. What is this course is all about? If you want to learn, you can just look into this particular topic what I've written here. I hope everyone has this particular syllabus. If you want, I can share it in the teams as well. Okay, what are the certifications you can plan? If you are interested, I've written here like fundamentals or AWS solution architect associate or AWS solution architect professional. This is advanced. Okay. If you want to learn, if you want to do certification on Kubernetes as well, I can help you out. Certification on Kubernetes or Terraform, I can help you out personally. No hesitations in that. Okay. And project is all about, we already have some project which is already deployed and we already have it ready. Our internal project itself, I will be sharing you and I will be showing you how to deploy it end to end, so that that particular knowledge will help you to attend the interview, to talk to the interviewer as if you have worked in a project. See, for example, some people might be adding some particular fake experience or not a genuine experience at all. For them to answer in the interview, you have to know, you have to be in a position to answer that I worked on so and so project. I worked on in this particular implementation. I did this integration part and all. How will you answer them? Only when you did some particular end-to-end project, right? So that is where the project I will be sharing you. It is more of a three-tier application what we have. And not only that, resume preparation and all, I'll show you how to do it in resume.io. There's an application called resume.io where we can build our own resume with the proper data, which looks really good. Okay, I'll show you how to do that. So resume preparation, how to see each and every topic. I will ask you the questions. Ask you the questions in the sense I will give you the task. For example, I will show you once. Classroom dot. Sorry. github.com. You're able to see here, right? Okay. I hope you're able to see. So in this, for every patch, we create a, what do you say, a group classroom. In that, I will share all the documents and everything. And I will give you the questions as well, like task. We call it as classwork. You can see Linux task like questions. You have to submit, answer them and all. Okay. So these are the things what I'm going to teach you in this particular entire training program. Thanks for joining for the demo, guys.